Hi, I'm Don Peoples, President of Butte Central Catholic Schools, and welcome to We Are BC TV. Today we're taping from Center Court at the Maroon Activity Center, which is the crown jewel of athletic facilities in Montana. And we're very excited today to have an incredible guest, Mr. Harp Cote from the Butte Central class of 1942. So Harp, welcome and thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Harp is by far one of the most outstanding benefactors, supporters, volunteers in the history of our school, which dates back to over 130 years. Harp graduated from the class of 1942.
Right.
And then after graduation, you went off to World War II as a member of the Navy, correct?
Right.
So Harp, after serving in the war and being a prominent member of the greatest generation, right, you came back to start your professional career in Butte, and you were in business with some Butte characters, some great Butte.
Tucker McGree and I were partners in Meaderville. We had the bar down there, and the bar and restaurant. We liked to serve the whiskey better than the food. We were down there. Well, let's see. I don't know how many, 3 years at least, until we decided, or I decided that we should sell a tuck, got married, and it's sure not a good life for a married person.
Meaderville wasn't a place for a married man, huh?
No, I didn't feel it was, and his wife did either. And of course, I had a very lovely person I was dating, and I knew I don't think she'd have married me if we just stayed there. But we sold the joint in Meaderville, and I went to work with New York Life.
And then so you worked away from Butte for a few years, correct, Harp, before you came back?
Yes, I was an agent here in Butte, and then they made me an assistant manager. They sent me to Boise, Idaho, and then they sent me to Portland as an assistant manager, and then to Seattle. And then they sent me back to Butte as the general manager. So
that was sometime in the 1960s you came back to Butte?
Yeah, I'd have to check it out, but yeah, I'd say so.
So I know that we probably can't share too many of the Meaderville stories, but one of the famous stories that I've loved to hear about you is when you went to work for New York Life, they sent you to a program at Princeton, correct?
Well, no, that was in the Navy.
In the Navy? Okay, you went to the Navy. Okay.
They sent me to OCS. Officers Candidate School. I was aboard ship, and they picked a bunch of guys to go to Officers Candidate. I was just an enlisted man, electrician's mate I was, and they sent some people to OCS, and I happened to be one of them at Princeton, and I really had a great time there. Yeah.
Well, and this is the part of the story that I like the best. One of your schoolmates or classmates was Albert Einstein. He was walking around Princeton at the time. And so did you have a chance to fill him in on some of the ways of academics and that kind of thing?
Well, Albert was at Princeton, of course, and I'm sure he didn't know me from a load of boots, but I'd see him every day. We were on the campus, and he'd walk up and down, and not speaking much to anybody. But I was there for Officers Candidate School for 7 years.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
For a year or so, I guess it was, yeah.
So the real question was, who was the top student in the class? Was it Albert or you?
Well, I could have probably taught Albert some of the things he didn't know about it after my 3 years in Meaderville, but I didn't get involved in that.
Yeah, that's a really neat story, though. One of the most famous men of all time.
Yeah, he was.
And you were able to see him in person.
Every day we'd see him, his hands behind his back, walking up and down. Yeah, he was an interesting gentleman. Yeah.
So, getting back to after you moved abroad to work for New York Life, you were able to come back to Butte, which ended up being a great thing for Butte Central Schools. Yeah. You and your young bride, Esther, had children by then and moved your family back to Butte, right?
Yeah, and we had 8, over the period of time, we had 8 children that all graduated from Central.
Yeah, that's a great tradition,
Yeah.
all 8 of your children, and then
Yeah.
your granddaughter that grew up in Butte, Shauna, so you had also had another
Yeah,
generation
yeah,
and a grandchild. So that's a proud tradition in your family of Butte Central graduates.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, they're all proud to be a graduate of Butte Central too, I'm sure. I know the ones that are, we lost 3 children since up until now. You know, of course, I'm getting old and so are they, but some of them died fairly young. We lost 3 children, but the ones that are alive all, we're very proud of the fact that they graduated from Butte Central. Yeah.
You have a great family. I know all of your kids very well, and that's a real privilege for me to know all the members of the Cote family. So I know that you and Esther are devout Catholics, and you believe strongly in Catholic education, and that's been a big part of your inspiration with your family.
Well, I think it's, I don't know whether it's where you get it, but at Central, it was always there. You had things that made you remember that you were a child of God, and your mother and father were very important to you, and at 97, they're still very important to me. I remember so many things my mom and dad did to help us. And back at, well, the whole Catholic system, I can remember at St. Pat's, the tuition was hard to come by back in those days. It was the Depression. $1 a month.
$1 a month was tuition at St. Patrick's.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I don't know, things have changed, thank goodness, and I just wish more people could take advantage of places like Butte Central.
Well, you certainly, you and your wife and your family have been tremendous parts of our school. And I know that right when you moved back, you got involved with our school system right away. I know you and your great friend Torger Oas were instrumental in starting the Century Club. And you and Torger hosted a kickoff barbecue every year up at Toll Mountain. And
up at Torger's cabin
right.
once a year. Yeah.
And I know right away back in those 60s you were instrumental in starting the BC auction. Every project that the school had, you and your wife were part of. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And I know that in the early 1980s, when that was at the time when the open pit mining was closing in our community, and the undergrounds had closed in the 70s. But it was a real difficult time financially for our schools, and you were instrumental in starting the Butte Central Foundation along with several other wonderful ladies and men who really stepped forward to start the BC Foundation.
Yeah, I was just one of many that worked hard at it. Yeah.
I know that through the years you've been a great leader in our fundraising efforts also. You have chaired 3 major capital fund campaigns, including the campaign that helped build this incredible facility here at the Maroon Activity Center. So I know that you've shown great leadership as a campaign chair throughout the years.
Well, I appreciate that, Don. There are a lot of other great people in Butte that did a lot too. People like Torger Oas, and there's many of them. At my age, I'm lucky to remember what I had for lunch, what I was involved with for the last 50 years.
Yeah. No, there's no question. That's one of the reasons that Butte Central is still here. Thinking about all the financial strife that our community has gone through, from mine strikes to the Great Depression, which you were in grade school during the Great Depression. Yeah. But somehow the school system has continued to survive and flourish and provide an incredible education to young people. And I know we just stopped at the elementary school, and we were able to visit a bunch of 2nd and 3rd graders who just made their first communion either last year or this year. Wonderful. And there were great grandkids of many of your contemporaries there.
Yeah, there was.
So that's the tradition we talk about, is what you helped sustain and build in our school is now to a 3rd and a 4th, even a 5th generation of kids.
Yeah, well, it feels good to feel you're part of it, but there was many, many people at Central that did as much or more than I ever was able to do. There's some great people that have kept the school.
No question about it.
Yeah.
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 Well, you know, one of the things that's been an incredible thing, we did visit with kids today that are part of the Harp Cote Resource Program. And that's a program you helped us develop in 2017. It's an academic resource program designed to help kids with special academic needs. And right now in our school system, we're serving over 40 kids in that program between elementary and high school. And it's named after your beautiful bride, Esther, who is one of the most kind-hearted people that I've ever gotten to meet. But that's a program that we're extremely proud of, that we want to say thanks to you today as well.
Well, thank you, and thank her, because she really feels like she wants to help Central all the time, but she's not one who's outgoing. She don't like, she definitely don't like to be on stage,
Right.
so to speak.
But she's a very humble and kind
Yeah,
person, though.
kind person.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is very, very wonderful lady.
And I know that what's been really neat through the years, when we've had the chance to have her at school, and the young people gravitate to her right away, and there's hugs, and you can just tell it's a special part of her heart to have that program with her name on it. So we're very proud of it.
Yeah, thank you, and I know she'll thank you too. She'll give me help for being here on TV. She really appreciates it.
Well, Harp, it's been great to have you here today. You know, I don't think there are enough words to thank you and your wife and your children and the legacy that you've helped build. And you said very well that there are many, many other families that have been a huge part of that, but we'd really be remiss if we didn't say thank you to you today for all that you've done for Butte Central and Catholic education. And you're a great friend of our family and a great friend of the Butte Central family. So it's been incredible to have you here today.
Thank you very much, Johnny, and that makes me proud to say you're a friend of mine, because I think a lot of all the people's family, they're great people. Don and your dad and I have been friends for a long time.
I know my father considers you one of his closest friends of his life, so that's a special part of our family as well. So, well, thank you for being here today on We Are BC TV. It's been a great pleasure to have Mr. Harp Cote at Center Court of the facility that he was instrumental in helping develop for our community and the Butte Central family. So from all of us at Butte Central, thank you again, Harp.
Thank you, Donnie. Thank you very much for asking me to be part of this.
And thank you for being here today on We Are BC TV.